All right, thank you guys. The Grizzlies take on the Jazz, 2:30 p.m. Eastern start time. The Jazz are minus 4.5. Totals 225 flat. The Grizzlies are plus 145 to win it, and if you like Memphis plus 4.5, they're minus a buck 10 to cover. I'm 6-0 in my last 6 daily best play tier package picks on patreon.com/BrockPage. And that package is literally just $1.99. I'm also 7-0 in my last 7 MLB tier package plays on that site as well. A lot of good stuff going on right now. If you want some more information on how you can get in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below, and that's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, the Grizzlies haven't picked up a W in the bubble yet. They're 0-3 straight up since the restart, and it's actually going to make them losers in their last 4 straight regular season contests. The Grizzlies are in the bottom 10 in points allowed, bottom 10 in defending the 3-ball. Memphis is currently 4 games below 500, and they're just barely hanging on to that 8th seed, just 1.5 games ahead of a tough Portland squad in the standings. Now, Winslow, Jones, and Jackson Jr. are all out tonight. The Jazz on the other side find themselves currently as the 5th seed in the West with a 42-25 record. They're in the top 5 in offensive field goal percentage, top 3 in shooting the 3-ball. Don Mitchell's leading the charge with 24 points a game, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Rudy Gobert's dropping 15 a game along with 14 rebounds per night as well. What the hell's going on down there? Utah's in the top 10 in points allowed, top 5 in defensive rebounding. Now, total-wise, 3 out of the Jazz last 4 regular season games stayed under the posted total. Meanwhile, on the Memphis side, they went 80% to the under in their last 10. Give me the Jazz minus 4.5 and the under 225 in that game. Before we go ahead and move on, just want to take another quick timeout and welcome you to the video. Got some lines and personal leans out for Wednesday's NBA basketball action. But before we dive into some more of that, I just have to quickly remind you that we are currently 7-0 in our last 7 MLB tier package plays on patreon.com/BrockPage. We're also 6-0 in our last 6 daily best plays on that site as well. That package goes for just $1.99, by the way. If you want some more information on how you can join in on the action, link for that site is in the description section below. And once again, that's patreon.com/BrockPage. And the reason why I'm holding this thing like this is because the microphone hits my beard and it doesn't sound good for you. All right, moving on, the Denver Nuggets take on the San Antonio Spurs, 4 p.m. Eastern tip-off. Nuggets are 4.5-point favorites. Totals 226 flat. Spurs are plus a buck 30 for an outright win. They're also minus a buck 10 to cover the point spread. San Antonio successfully covered the number in their last 4 straight, and while Forbes and Lyles, they have been listed as out for tonight's contest. Of course, the deep baller, Marco Bellinelli, he's been upgraded to probable, so we should see him. Now, the Spurs are in the top 5 in shooting the 3-ball, top 10 in scoring. DeMar DeRozan's averaging 22 a night, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. Patty Mills is also scoring a dozen off the bench. The Spurs are taking on a Denver squad who lost 2 out of their last 3, allowing 117 points per contest during that stretch. Barton and Harris are out. Jamal Murray's questionable with a hammy. Total-wise, the Nuggets' last 2 straight got over the posted number. They're also 60% to the over in their last 10. Now, the Spurs are 67% to the over in their last 9 themselves. Give me the Spurs plus 4.5 and the over 226 in that game. All right, moving on, we're going to take a look at the Wizards taking on the Sixers, 4 p.m. Eastern start time. The Sixers are the 10.5-point favorite, totals 229 and a hook. The Wizards are plus 475 to win it outright. They're also minus a buck 10 to cover the number. And despite having Wall, Beal, Bertans, and Matthews out, this Washington team still ranks in the top 10 in scoring, top 10 in shooting the 3. Now, Washington's 4-1 against the spread in their last 5, taking on an Atlantic Division opponent. They are taking on a Sixer team who will be missing Mike Scott this evening. And in addition to that, Glenn Robinson and Kyle O'Quinn are listed as questionable, so keep an eye on those guys. And although they're not playing in the nation's capital here tonight, Just keep in mind, Philly's 0-10 in their last 10 road games against Washington. Now, Philly's in the bottom 10 in scoring, bottom 10 in road defensive field goal percentage. And when it comes to the total in this one, the Sixers' last 8 straight all got over the total. So with all that in mind, give me the Wizards plus 10.5 and the over 229 and a hook in that game. Moving on, we're going to take a look at the OKC Thunder taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. 8 p.m. Eastern start time. The Lakers are laying 5.5. Totals 219 and a hook. OKC's plus $1.80 for some money line cash. OKC's 16 games above 500, and they find themselves just 2.5 games behind the third place Nuggets in the standings. And despite having Schroeder, Muscala, and Ferguson all on the sideline tonight, this OKC squad still... What's up?
What up? Sorry.
Just recording the podcast. You can say hello if you want.
Hello.
You will? Okay. Despite having Schroeder, Muscala, and Ferguson all on the sideline tonight, this OKC squad still covered 3 out of their last 4 games and went 7-3 straight up in their last 10. Now, OKC ranks in the top 5 in offensive field goal percentage, top 10 in points allowed. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander averages 19 a night, 6 rebounds. Danilo Gallinari scores 19 a night as well, 5 rebounds and 2 assists. OKC's 13-6 against the spread in their last 19 against the Lakers. And, of course, speaking of Los Angeles, they failed to cover the number in 3 out of their last 4. They're in the bottom 3 in free throw percentage as well. So if you put them on the stripe, they're probably not going to capitalize. Now, total-wise, 5 out of LA's last 6 ball games stayed under the posted total. OKC saw 5 out of their last 8 stay under the number themselves. Give me the OKC Thunder plus 5.5 and the under 219 and a hook in that game. All right, moving on, we're going to take a look at the Raptors Magic, 8 p.m. East. Raptors are -7, numbers 223 and a hook. Orlando's plus 230 to win it. Orlando has lost 8 out of their last 10 head-to-head meetings with the Raptors, just 3-7 against the spread in those ball games. The Magic rank in the bottom 10 in scoring, bottom 5 in offensive field goal percentage. Aminu's out, Isaac's out, Carter Williams is questionable. Orlando lost 9 out of their last dozen as the official Vegas underdog as well. They are taking on a very strong Toronto squad who's currently 30 games above 500 right now, second place in the East. Pascal Siakam's dropping 24 a night, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. Kyle Lowry scoring 20 a night himself, 5 rebounds, 8 assists for him. Toronto's in the top 5 in three-point percentage, top 3 in points allowed. Now, total-wise, 4 out of the Raptors' last 7 got over the total of 224. Meanwhile, the Magic saw their last 10 straight games get over the posted total themselves. A lot of overs for them. Give me the Raptors -7 and the over 223 and a hook in that contest. And with that, we're going to dive into our next and final matchup for the show. It's going to be Nets-Celtics, 9 p.m. Eastern start time. The Celtics are the 8.5-point favorite. Total's 228 flat. The Nets are plus 333 to win it. If you like the Nets, plus 8.5. They're minus $110 to cover. Now, the Nets are without Beasley, Jordan, Chandler, Prince, and Claxton, just to name a few. And, of course, Harris, LeVert, and Allen, they're all listed as questionable for tonight's action as well. So you're probably not going to recognize many of these Nets tonight. Brooklyn's failed to cover the number in 14 out of their last 19 ball games, taking on an Atlantic Division opponent. They also rank in the bottom 5 in field goal percentage, bottom 10 in defensive rebounding. They're taking on a Celtics squad who's in the top 10 in offensive rebounding, top 3 in points allowed. And despite Kemba Walker sitting out tonight, these guys are led by Jason Tatum, who's dropping 23 a night, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Jaylen Brown's also scoring 21 a night, 6 rebounds. And when it comes to the scoring in this one, Boston's last 4 straight got over the total, 75% to the over in their last 8 as well. The Nets on the other side, they saw 2 out of their last 3 get over the line themselves. Give me the Celtics -8.5. in the over 228 in that game. And with that said, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. If you decide to pull the trigger and get a package here today, just keep in mind that the way Patreon's billing cycle works is we'll bill you the day you sign up and then the first of every month following that. So just keep that in mind. If you get a package here today, you get billed today, and then you're going to get billed again on September first. But anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. Got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. Really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. Obviously, behind me, the tree is still and not whipping around. It was actually, I was recording yesterday. That was a legitimate tornado, I believe. I know there was a tornado warning, but I think it may have touched down because I walked to the store and the wind guided me there. So anyway, guys, that's going to do it for me. Got to thank you for joining me here today. Happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.